Cool. Well, I hope you find it soon because we're live right now. Welcome, everybody. This is Tellman Fellman. I'm here with Harris.
Fellman, sorry.
Harris is moving, and he's looking for a deck of cards right now. So
I'm having what?
I said Harris is moving, and he's looking for a deck of cards.
I was. Yeah. I'm moving. That's the back of a closet. This is the back of a closet. The top of a desk. Some easel that was in the back. I don't know what that is. What's that? Oh, that's the back of a dresser. These are desks. Would anybody like to come pick up some IKEA desks?
In Spain.
Just pick them up. They're yours.
Right.
Yeah, got lots of stuff. So that's not what we're streaming about. Hi. I did find these for you, Tellman. I usually like to do. I like to do fireworks show. You know, I do magic. I like to do fireworks show. So here we go.
Woo! That was incredible.
Now the really cool one. I like to say that I Americanized this one. Woo! I put gunpowder in these, and the hair on my. Woo. Oh yeah, sorry. There's people from America that will not appreciate that joke. I tell that joke all over Europe, and they love it. They think it's funny that we like gunpowder. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Americans love their gunpowder. It's true.
Yeah. So anyway, hi everybody. I'm a bit of a hot mess right now.
Yeah. So Harris, you just we had a little bit of a slow start this morning. Harris just got back from 4 days traveling to the Netherlands to drop your son off at college, and you're feeling a little emotional this morning. What's happened? Yeah, what was that like? I mean, to the degree that you can share, you know.
I don't even know if I can say words without crying too much. I don't mind crying, but I don't know. It's just you haven't done it yet, have you?
No, I haven't. My son, our kids. My son's just entering his senior year, even though his birthday's in September. So our sons are very close in age, but I guess my son's a year behind just because.
No, your son and mine are I think they're the same year, and they're a week apart, but the cutoff date in California
was different.
Had my son going earlier. So I have a daughter that's older, and she's already in university. So I mean, when I dropped her off, I cried uncontrollably for days. I'm fine if I don't talk and think about it. I mean, and I've also processed it. I've also pre-processed it with with my daughter. It's it's not oh no, I'm never going to see them again. It's just
yeah.
And also, well, it's just love is what it is.
Yeah.
It's not even tears of joy, as they say. It's not I'm so glad that I dropped my son off in a foreign country to go to university. It's just it's another thing I've been thinking about too is it's you don't realize it when you have a kid, but it gives you purpose.
Oh, it really does, like nothing else, right?
And so just we still help them when they're young adults and older, of course, and we still have that purpose, but now we're not there 100% of the time. They're not waking up in the same place as you, or even whatever, across town if you're divorced parents or something like that. But we, that's part of it is that your purpose really, changes, and you have to, you're really lucky to have a purpose. A lot of people, I think, go through life
Largely,
I mean,
yeah.
And I'm not the type of person that, I have other purpose, but it's not as meaningful as raising your own child. I mean, you make everybody make shit up. I mean, at the end of the day, other than that, you're like, oh, my purpose is to teach people to be millionaires. Like I want to inspire people to be comedians or whatever, like to live their life to the fullest. I do. I like that. That's a good purpose. I think we all have those purpose, but when it's your own kid and then they're moving on to the next phase of their life, which causes you to move on to the next phase of your life.
Right.
I think there's just a lot of emotion involved, and then you don't necessarily have to have words for it. It's just emotion, and but I'm also, I'm leaving a house that I've lived in for 8 years, which is the longest I've lived in any house in my entire life. Like even as a child, I've only I only lived in a couple of places, maybe 6 years. One of them for 4 or 5, one of them for 5 or 6, depending on when the actual move-in and everything was. Mm-hmm. And Andrea and I split up. So like a couple, within the last couple of years. So it's very new chapter-ish for me, now, which, I cried about that already. A couple of years ago. I'm not and we're still friends. So that's not what this is, and I can't do anything. I can't, all I can do, the last 4 days, I have responsibilities. I have a company that I have, that's not doing great, to be honest with you. My other my company, has broken IT and among other, processes that I don't have the time to jump in. I'm doing consulting for a company, and I was able to kind of help with an email here and there from my phone but for the last 4 days, I've been I guess helping him get to his next getting settled, but also saying goodbye.
Right.
To one of my favorite people in the world, and he cried a lot too, which is good. His sister didn't cry as much, so we think she might be autistic. No, she's kind of said that since then, not because of that, but just in general. She's like, my friends think I might be a little autistic, and I'm like, oh, I never picked up on it. I just thought you were shy. So maybe.
Maybe.
But I mean, yeah. So I don't know. I'm not worried about him. He's gonna do fine. He's a great kid. And we're gonna stay in touch. It's not like I don't know, maybe 20 years ago, you wouldn't send your kid off to another country to go to school because the communication would be, too distant. I don't know. But now it's not a second thought, as far as communicating. It's not like I've already been through that part. So that's not, the first time it really threw me off guard. I knew I'd cry when I dropped my daughter off at university, but not the way even now, this is more than I did, other than just saying goodbye to my son. But but I also think I'm coming apart a little bit because I'm also moving. I have 4 days to get out of here. And
well, dude, you're going through enormous transition, right? You're moving from Spain to the UK. You're going through a divorce, and you just dropped your son off at college. and in the process of like starting a whole new business with me. Like there's a lot that, I mean, that's a lot of stuff, dude. Like that's no joke.
Yeah.
Serious. You know, it's a real big deal.
Yep. Yeah, I guess. I mean, but then, like I was talking with Andrea, it's like, I mean, other people go through a lot of shit at the same time too. And this is probably a big emotional time for a lot of people when they're,
Totally.
becoming empty nesters or whatever. Like her mother has dementia now and just fell. Sorry, she didn't fall. I thought she either fell or didn't fall. I don't know, but she has. I'm laughing because she has arthritis in her lower back, and I said, "Oh, is it arthritis?" That's why I'm laughing.
How'd that fly?
I don't know. I'm excused. I guess I'm excused. I probably did. She probably didn't even Andrew probably didn't even like bother with it.
Didn't
Like,
even notice. Yeah.
I probably didn't really float that one.
But dude, come back to the topic of purpose that you were talking about earlier, and that like purpose that most people, I think, gets unlocked when you have a child and you're raising a child. Like it gives you a North Star. It gives you something to lock onto that's not going anywhere. Like what you need to do. And look, like some parents are dedicated parents and other parents just completely check out and do a really terrible job and whatever. Like we all respond to these things differently. But like I think that's actually one of the biggest defining points, like the difference between someone that is quote unquote successful either as a parent or as an entrepreneur in business, as an athlete, as a performer, as an artist, as a professional, whatever your deal is. Like if you don't have a reason to do it, you're not going to give it everything you've got. And if you're not going to give it everything you've got, like really, how well are you going to do in comparison to how well you could do? Right? This isn't about you versus the world or you versus anyone else, but just in terms of your own living up to your own potential and doing the types of things in this world that mean something to you and mean something to other people. Like that sense of purpose. It's interesting, right? It's hard to find when you're looking for it, but then once you have it, you don't know what you do without it, right? And so, or at least that's how I felt. I remember when Jody and I split up, and like her and I started numerous businesses together before the internet business took off. You know what I mean? We started and failed at a bunch of different business ventures, and normally it was me starting and her helping. And we were actually a pretty good business team when we were resonating, when we were getting along and working together. And then when our marriage went south, had to learn how to be a single dad, had to learn how to run a business by myself, had to learn how to be emotionally, I had to learn how to emotionally take care of myself instead of relying on her for certain types of support, and that was really, really hard. And one of the things that happened is I totally lost my sense of purpose for several years because I felt like I was just making shit up. Like, what should I do now? Oh, blah, blah, blah. And then it was always short-lived. Right. And that's where that whole shiny object syndrome thing comes along. Right. It's like, oh, if I do this other outside thing or plug into that'll somehow help to fulfill my sense of purpose, Interestingly enough, I mean, I'm going to use this as a metaphor, I guess. The title that I used for today's episode came from something you've mentioned several times, Harris, which is this question that we've both been asked. And honestly, everybody in the marketing guru space that I know, I think would agree. This is one of the most common questions, if not the most common question that struggling entrepreneurs, people who are trying to get going, but constantly like not really getting going will ask, like, if you had to start over, if you had to begin again, if you had to like really, if your whole life fell apart, if everything like crashed and burned, if you had a hard reset, right? How would you do it? If you had to do it over again, how would you do it? And I read a quote yesterday. I think it was like an astrology app or something. It was something along the lines of, you can only connect the dots by looking backward. You can't ever connect the dots by looking forward. So you actually don't get the opportunity to connect the dots ahead of time. When you're trying to move forward, like, you can think you know what the hell you're doing. You can make a plan and you can try to make it happen. And that might happen, right? But like, what you're going to discover along the way and the twists and turns that are going to come up is probably going to be infinitely more valuable than whatever it is you originally set out to do. But like, we've been talking about this for a while, about the difference between just working as a one-person show and creating something or doing something that involves significantly more people than just you. Like, and in this case, we're talking about doing a virtual summit, doing an interview series as a way of building your business, growing your list, building your audience. And when you embark on a mission or a project that you couldn't possibly do just by yourself, that creates purpose. And one of the reasons that it creates purpose is because the other people that you're going to need to rope into your project to get involved, like, you're now responsible to them. It's having another human being that you need to serve. And it's not just about yourself. It's not just about feeding you. It's not just about your own success, but it's about the success of everyone involved in your venture or your project. And I think that's one of the secret benefits of doing whether it's a product launch or a interview series or a virtual summit or hosting a big conference and event with a whole bunch of speakers, is that you're suddenly directly interacting and directly involved with so many other people who are doing stuff that most people rise to the occasion. Like, when you embark on a greater mission, a bigger project, a more grandiose scheme, like, most people are capable of a lot more than they realize. And when we're all stuck in our own little isolated solopreneur bubble, it's very, very easy to stop believing in yourself and to put limitations on what you can do.
Well, I think there's two layers to it that kind of, it's kind of coming up for me, because I am essentially, in some ways, right? I mean, definitely starting over, right? I don't think we can quite say we're starting from scratch, because you and I have
knowledge, experience, network, connections, history, lists, like all these things. We're not,
yeah. So it's not the same answer as like starting from, like, if we were starting again right now, or if we were going to go like, but because the answer to that question is 100% doing, some sort of interview series or something like, multi-person collaboration where each person gets their portion, like that. But it's different than what you and I are doing, which is also a collaboration. And I also have a collaboration with somebody else that's not what we're doing, right? And you have
at least two other collaborations going on, right?
Yeah, 2 or 3.
You could say 3 others, so 4 total, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to. I wouldn't mind if my, the business that I mentioned that was having trouble had a collaboration right now. I wish my partner that had invested money in it didn't just, up and disappear. And he would say it differently. I don't think that's completely fair to him, but at least not fair representation of how he feels, whatever happened. But anyway, he would say, "Oh, I tried to help and you won't let me." And I'm like, "Okay, well, all right, if you say so." But that's not recent. Anyway, my point is that yes. I have a few a few small collaborations other than this one. And with one of them, like I said, I'm doing some consulting for Warrior Plus. That's not the same type of thing as this. But it's plugging into an existing team, and that's on one level. But they're a marketplace. Like they only exist by there being other vendors that have offers that are like that make their whole marketplace exist. Which you and I basically, like with this concept of doing a virtual summit or an interview series, is essentially setting up yourself as a mini marketplace in a way, right? Where every week you do a webinar or an interview with an expert, and you sell their one offer at the end of that. So you're basically self-creating a collaborative audience, and then from there you're introducing them in a kind of infomercial sort of way to a topic, and then selling at the end of it. So that's super powerful for like the starting from scratch concept. But at the same time, like, what did I actually do when I was like, oh, I gotta make money again? Like this thing, my site got hacked. I can't handle all the tech myself. Some of the sales processes were even broken. What do I do to make money outside of this thing that's been paying me so well for 10, 11 years?
Yeah.
Reached out to people, reached out to you, reached out to Warrior Plus, reached out to a coaching, to Flo Kumle, someone who does, back end coaching. Reached out, I reached out to twice as many people that I'm actually doing projects with, but I reached out to a lot of people, said, hey, what's going on with you? And, yeah. So anyway, like that's what you do. And if you are a responsible partner, then, and you find a good accountability partner, then you can get a bunch of shit done. And that's what's exciting. And then you and I really resonate a lot on what we're doing together, because we've both made hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars with this exact model. And frankly, part of what I'm not quite burnt out on, but about some of the stuff from the past is like, I want to give something that really directly helps people. And I'm excited to get back to that. I've just been selling traffic for 10 years, which is great. Congratulations. I had a successful business for a long period of time, and it'll build itself back up. But,
one of my favorite books from when I was a kid, I actually recently pulled it out of a box and put it on my bookshelf. You ever read the book Caps for Sale?
What for sale? Hold on, sorry. My mom just tried to call. I don't think she's watching our stream, but otherwise she wouldn't. She keeps trying to call. I wish we could get her on the stream with us. That would be hilarious.
Harris, why don't we do this? Why don't I take you off the stream? You check in with your mom, make sure it's not a just hop out of the live stream. I'll keep talking for a little while. Check in with your mom.
How do I do that? You kick me out? Leave studio?
Remove from stage. I'll remove you from the stage, and then just wave your hands around when you're ready to come back in.
Okay.
All right. Cool. So it sounds like Harris's mom is trying to get in touch with them, so we want to make sure it's not an emergency situation. So if you guys have any questions, Harris and I have both been respectively working online full-time since the early 2000s. Right, I started in 2003. Harris started a little bit before me. And one thing that we've both had enormous amount of success with is interviewing people in our various markets and spaces, not only to build a large, responsive email list and following and audience, but also to sell products and services of a wide variety, low ticket, high ticket, recurring revenue, membership programs, coaching programs, digital products, supplements, physical stuff, all the different things, though most of my experience is with digital products online. And so if you guys have any questions about what it takes in order to really get some momentum and get something rocking, please ask them in the comments, and either we'll see them right now or we'll see them after the live stream is done. Either way, we will answer your question in the upcoming live stream, if not right now. So if you have questions about launching, if you have questions about being a parent, while you're also trying to be an entrepreneur, especially a single parent or a co-parent, but not necessarily a, partnered parent, I guess, then ask those questions, because it really is a lot to balance. It's a lot to figure out. And it can be really challenging sometimes. But the model that Harris and I are talking about is, Harris, are you available or not available? If you are, waggle your hand around. I feel like maybe you're talking to your mom right now. I don't know what you're doing. Anyway, like, the reason this interview series model works so unbelievably well, here's what we're doing, guys. We have a boot camp that we're teaching. We're starting in September, and it's 12-week boot camp that's going to walk you through the entire process of coming up with, conceptualizing, and launching your first, presumably, virtual summit. And this can be a free summit. It can be a paid summit. Virtual summit to build your email list, to build your SMS list, to build your social media following if you have one, and or if you want one, and to build your customer list if that's where your focus is. I've personally done this first in the internet marketing space. The first one that I did was actually a hybrid of internet marketing and personal development, which was a little weird. It worked great for variety. It gave me a lot of people to interview, but it was called List Crusade. And I interviewed all these people, over 80 people in the industry at the time. And they all promoted my interview series because I set it up in such a way that it was appealing for them to do that. And back in the day, I managed, I was introduced to some people through some previous projects that I was working on, namely Chris and Janet Atwood, and they introduced me to Jay Abraham and some other heavy hitters in some kind of old school direct response marketers, T. Harv Eker, Jack Canfield, Mark Victor Hansen, all these guys. And I very quickly had an enormous amount of name recognition and had all of the top dogs in the industry promoting me, and people were hearing my interviews with them. And what happened is, in under a year, I built a very, very large, very responsive, and ever-growing email list that paid me for years and years and years because of the way that we set up this entire model. And so if you want to dramatically accelerate the growth of your business, the reason this works is because following our virtual summit model, you end up targeting the top 100 people that you'd like to interview who have huge followings and big lists. And then you turn around and you partner with them in a cross-promotional affiliate type manner in most cases. And then and then you get to test all of their different offers to the list that you've built. And it's unbelievably powerful. So I've done it in marketing. I did one in hypnosis with my friend Jim Katsoulis back in the day. I separately did my own hypnosis summit called the Hypnosis Event. That was so successful. I did another one called the NLP Event. Then I went and did another one called the List Building Event. And I did one of these with the attention deficit disorder market. And I personally have trained thousands of people how to do virtual summits to build large lists and get your name on the map. And so what we haven't done before is I haven't taught this stuff for years. Harris was one of my students many, many, many years ago. And I haven't taught the model for years. And it is the single model that has worked the best for me over and over and over again. I'm like, why don't I do a summit every year or every 6 months or every 3 months? Well, there was a time when I was doing them much more often. And I think the reason that I got away from it is I got bored with the model. I love learning new models. I love learning new things and testing out new stuff. I like buying everybody else's home study products and courses and programs and going through them and running them kind of like a recipe in my kitchen and see how it turns out. Like I have a lot of fun with building marketing models and learning them. So just sticking with the same thing and doing the same thing over and over and over again for me is very challenging.
Well, part of it too, I think part of it too is, I mean, I know this sounds counterintuitive, but like it's almost like it's so good at what it does, you don't need to do it as often as you would think. Like, I know I'm sure we'll say it on the sales page, you could do this every 3 months, and which is true. But like if you have a successful one,
you really only do it once a year. Like,
I mean, once a year, once every other year, something like that, to like give your business a huge boost. You quickly build a list of whatever 10,000 or 50,000 or 100,000 people or 5,000 people that are like hyper engaged and really interested in the topic. And then that you're able to just keep doing it. You can extend it. It's basically like, you're gonna push this boulder up the mountain in 3 months, and then it's just gonna start, or actually you're gonna push a pretty decent sized snowball up a mountain. And then that snowball is gonna start getting bigger and bigger, and it gets easier every week by far. And then you don't really need to grab a snowball again because you've already got this, this big thing. And you're just like, let me do another one. Let me add a little bit of,
But speaking about like pushing the snowball up the mountain, it's a funny metaphor, but like you're not doing it alone. This is the thing, guys, is that right now as a solopreneur, you're probably running your business alone. Okay, you probably have half-hearted support from your partner if you have a partner. Unless you're already crushing it and making millions of dollars every year, you probably have like a semi-skeptical partner who's like hoping at some point you're going to pull this internet business stuff together and really make it work. Or maybe you made it work in the past, but the economy has screwed up your business. All the changes to the email world has decreased your deliverability. Maybe you've had something happen to your business, like happened to Harris's business, where the email marketing environment changed and the business metrics totally dried up on you. All these things are very real and they happen. And so it's like, if you using this model, the virtual summit model is, these days, the way we teach it is we teach you how to do a series of sales webinars, right? And do they have to be sales webinars? They don't, but you'll make more money if they are, right? And how to do a series of sales webinars with other people so that other industry experts promote your summit, promote your series, build your list, and they make a ton of money in the process. You build a big list, you make a ton of money in the process if you do it right. And what you end up with is not only a fully stocked pond of fish that you can like fish out of for a year or longer, but you end up with over a dozen long-term promotional partners that you will probably continue doing business with for years. And that's where part of the perpetual aspect of this comes in. So if you guys have questions about putting a virtual summit together, or if you have questions about our upcoming boot camp, questions about being an internet entrepreneur, about email marketing, please ask them in the comments. We'd happily talk with you about that. But one thing I'm going to do is this week, we're doing a bunch of live streams this week. Last week we started our Tellman and Fellman show, and we just named it that in order to get our daily live stream going. We're up to episode 6 now, and we're going to be. I would like to give. Now, first of all, this is a expensive program. Okay, this is a significant investment. It's an expensive program. It's probably more expensive than what you've purchased recently, right? And it's a serious thing. We're gonna not just hold your hand, but we're gonna hold your feet to the fire. We're gonna give you very specific action items and things to do every single week in order to get your list built, your summit launched, your webinars going, your experts invited, and sales coming in. And if that sounds appealing to you, then I say I'm in the comments below. I'll send you a link to a video where you can get more information and to where you can book a call with either Harris or myself to discuss whether this would be the right choice for you in terms of growing your business.
I'll try not to cry on our discussion call.
On your individual call. That's right. So if you guys have any questions, please ask them in the comments, and very, very happy to answer them and or guide you in any way that we possibly can. So,
and by the way, seriously, on that note, I do think it's important for people to know that I'll be past this, like I moved out and moved into something else stage. I already have the place that I'm moving to. It's already like, it's there. I've lived there for a few weeks already. I'm just back here getting everything cleared up out of Barcelona, and I'm going to be moving to near London. And I'll be starting. I'm really, really looking forward to getting all this behind me, as it were.
Literally, yeah.
Literally, this stuff behind me. That's the and then yeah. Anyway, so I think it's important for people to know that I'm not going to be a blubbering, moron on our, a boot camp that we're doing.
No, Harris, you were having a rough morning, and I before we went on, I just shared with Harris that like by far, like the live streams that I've done that have done the best, that have gotten the most traction, that people have liked the most were the 2 times where I broke down crying on my live streams. It's like,
so Tellman wanted to use my tears.
Yeah,
to see if we could totally some audience.
Totally use them, and but you don't want to manufacture that. Maybe some people want to manufacture it. I don't really want to manufacture it, but
no, it was honest and authentic, and this is the time that we had scheduled.
Yeah,
this is when we were here, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if we should be streaming right now. And you're like, why not? I'm yeah. Anyway, we're all real people, and we all, I bet you some of the people that you've coached have cried with you about things as well. So
yeah, that's the real deal. Sometimes this stuff can get intense, so yeah. If you guys want to, if you want to get involved in boot camp, type I'm in, we'll get on the phone. I'll send you a link. We'll go on the phone if you're interested, and we can talk through the details. Harris, for you, if I were to say why the virtual why do you want to start doing summits again? Why as part of this project, we have a summit coming up. So we're not only teaching people how to do summits, we have a new summit that we're putting together right now. And so for you, why is doing a virtual summit the answer? Like, why is that, like, for you individually, like as an entrepreneur, why is that so appealing for you? What are some of the reasons?
A couple things. Yeah, a couple things come up for me. I mean, first of all, I have been a little bit out of the loop for the last 10 years. I'm not completely out of the loop, but I'm really looking forward to talking to people that have completely stayed on top of everything or on top of it now. Like I know I know more about AI than the average person, and I use it a little bit, but like I talk to some people and they're like, oh, just do this, and they've got a freaking flow chart, and they're, and I'm like, what? So like, I like that type of stuff really excites me. I really like, so first and foremost, I'm back where I was 20 years ago, not knowing, I don't not know anything, but now I don't know anything at whatever. There's stuff I don't know. There's always stuff you don't know, but I've been like so focused on this other business for so long. So I'm actually really looking forward to using this model as a way of me gaining information and thus sharing that information, because I feel like that's a really good place to be. Like it enables me to, I'm going to have different levels of questions instead, you know what I mean? Like where I don't think I know everything. So I'm looking, I like that. And I know it's really just reconnecting again with some leaders in digital marketing. I'm looking forward to that. And then it's, I don't know. I mean, I think it's a magical model. I mean, really, I really do. I think it's magical that you get 8 to 12 experts together, even though we're not all together at the same time. But I think it's kind of like, I've said it to you before. It's kind of like, the idea of making a movie. You get a bunch of people together. You've got this build-up process where you create the movie, and then you've got this marketing side of it where you start marketing it. So it's got these very well-defined. You were talking about connecting the dots. It does have forward dots. There might be a little bit of this, but it's got some forward dots that you can follow, and you're going to make a project. And then, you know what? If you don't like all 12 people, then you're going to only work with eight of them again or something like that. I like that about it. It's like you've got a finite amount of time that you're working with people on a project, and it has a very high chance of overall success. There's a lot of pieces of it that have that. Yeah.
I definitely agree. One thing that I would encourage you to do, Harris, is go look on your personal Facebook profile where you're streaming this. You might want to mute out the tab so it doesn't start making noise. But good old-fashioned Gary Ambrose is on and watching, and he was curious why we're not responding to Facebook comments, and because I guess we're not seeing them. So apparently there are a few on your page, and for some reason, Facebook comments aren't really coming through very well for me today. So
which should I mute? I should mute Facebook.
You should open up a new tab on Facebook and then mute it out, and then look, so the video, so you don't get video feedback. And then I guess you're wearing earbuds, so it might not even be an issue, but. Go ahead and just check on your personal Facebook where you're doing your streaming.
I see it now. Yeah, I'll look at the. So Gary said, "I hope you're talking Black Diamond Line accountability." That was legendary. That's you. He remembers that.
That's exactly true. Yeah, we're you know what we're doing. Actually, I'll share what we're doing, Gary. Like, I'm glad you remember Black Diamond Line. That's so awesome. Yeah, I loved the Black Diamond Line model, and I've used it many times over the years. We're doing what we call Q&A. So the boot camp is going to be 12 modules. Okay, it's going to be 12 weeks of training, and we're going to have a weekly training. It's going to be 60 to 90 minutes, and then we're also going to have another weekly training that we're calling our Q&A calls, and I call those our question and action calls. Maybe they should be question and accountability calls. There's definitely accountability. There's definitely action. There's definitely questions. And the way it works is you come in and you actually do a check-in where you say exactly what you accomplished in the last week as it relates to the boot camp, exactly what you're going to accomplish in the next week, and then you ask questions. And when I say what you accomplished, that means what are the to-do list items that you knocked off your list? What did you actually get done? Not what did you think about? Not how do you feel, not what are you considering, but like what did you actually get done, so we can move that forward. And every week in our trainings, we're going to give you the specific action items that you need to do in order to put the summit together. So in the Q&A calls, you're going to get on, we're going to go over what you accomplished, what you got done for the accountability piece, but then you ask your biggest question or questions that are preventing you from moving forward faster. Where are you confused? Where are you stuck? Where are you fearful? Do you need, are you sending out invitations to your experts and they're not getting responded to? Are you having confused, is your squeeze page not converting high enough? Like all these types of things. And we're there to help you in real time. So you will find that there is both the educational training and the accountability implementation all wrapped up into one, right? So in 90 days, if you follow our instructions and do everything that we teach you in the course, very step by step, the entire curriculum is organized like building a Lego set where it's step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. You're going to go through, implement all the pieces, and in 90 days, you will have successfully launched your virtual summit. You will be getting new subscribers and customers from it. You will have pulled together your list of expert speakers. You will have invited them. They will all be promoting your event. And not only will your email list, your customer list be growing, but you'll also be doing webinars, hopefully higher ticket webinars with lower ticket sales coming in throughout the entire process. So it's a pretty sweet model. I've seen
let me just run through the messages really quick. So Sean Mitchell, what's up? He said, "Woo, America for Klemt." Tom Beal said TNF Fellman, and then a heart, and then and they grow up so fast. Feel you, my brother Harris. So this is from 40 minutes ago. I just want to acknowledge that. Oh wow, somebody's actually on my. You're right. On my Facebook. And then Gary, I don't know how to get on yours though. Maybe I'll do that too, or maybe you're doing that. And then Gary Ambrose 30 minutes ago said, "Is this 2003?" That's pretty funny. More like 2006, Gary. Matt Haslam said 2003. He laughed at that. And then Ambrose said, List Crusade is how he met you originally. That was 20 plus years ago, or maybe met me. I think he met you, right? He went to met me through List Crusade. Hard to believe it's been that long. True. Matt remembers Run Tellman Run, and then it suggested maybe we stream this onto X as well. And then we got the Black Diamond line. You kind of went off on that one, and that's it. Those are all the comments now. But it's so nice to see some of you. I hope. I'm glad my blubbering.
Harris, this is actually a really good point. Your live stream, you titled radically different than I titled my live stream. Okay. And I want to point out that you're getting a ton of comments and I'm not. So even though I think I have a significantly larger following than you, okay.
Do you?
I think I do.
I'm sure you do.
Maybe I'm wrong about that. But
Facebook, I don't have. I mean, Facebook, I have almost 5,000. That's the max you can have, but that's all I have. And they're
so
not.
Odd, but we have all the same friends do. So your title. This is a really interesting lesson for everyone. Is your title is Harris is a hot mess right now, okay? And you have all these comments, whereas my title was Tellman and Fellman episode 6, starting from scratch ? And it's like a ghost town. So I just want to point out that people actually respond to emotion and connection, right? People really deeply respond to vulnerability.
They wanted to see me hang myself. That's what it was. They wanted to see it.
That's right.
Yeah.
So if Gary, I know you're a little introverted sometimes. If you do want to join us, we would totally give you a link to jump on the live stream. And as a matter of fact, Harris, do you have a hard cutoff on what time you need to wrap this up today? I know you're moving. You have tons of work to do. How long do you? We've been going for 48 minutes. So how long do you want to keep going for?
We're 20 over what I would have expected. So
what, guys, if you want, so one of the things that we're doing is we're interviewing a lot of people. And if you are an entrepreneur and you want to get on and either ask questions or have us ask you questions about your entrepreneurial journey, we would love, especially if we're friends, if we've known each other for a long time and you're a smart entrepreneur or marketer, we would love to talk to you. And even if you're not a highly experienced entrepreneur or marketer, but you're on the path and you want to ask some live questions, we love having our viewers jump on interviews, and we would love to have a chat with you. So if you're camera ready, what I'd love you to do is go ahead and pop something in the comments or wherever you're watching this, let Harris and I know, and we will get you on one of our future live streams probably this week. So really would encourage you to do that.
Yeah, I'd rather say get them on a live stream another day, not today, if that's
what
okay.
I was saying. We've been going almost an hour, so we'll schedule it in for another day. But if you're watching and you want some you want to get involved with some video conferencing with us, we would love to have a chat with you live. So please let us know. Harris, is there anything else that you really want to share or go over before we wrap up our episode here for the day?
No, I don't think so. I've got somebody here now that's helping me with picking out some furniture and stuff like that. So my brain just went over there. But I feel like this was productive. It got productive. It got. I think we was able to. We was able to share. Anyway, I'd love to. I was wondering. I've been wondering what's going on with Gary. And Tom, I've been wanting to connect with as well. So it's thanks for putting us in the background. Oh, there's the Black Diamond line.
That's right.
Cool. But yeah, thank you guys for the few of you for your support. And yeah, so if you're ever in Europe, I'm here. I'll be near London for a while.
And if you're not in Europe and you still want to work with us, we live stream 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. You can join us on the live stream. Either you can view, or if you're feeling fancy and you want a little spotlight, we would love to have you join us. Let us know. And we have two very exciting things coming up. One is the boot camp that we just shared with you. So if you want to do a virtual summit, if you want to build your list, if you want to get some serious name recognition in your market or industry, and you want to get your next dozen or so high-level strategic partners lined up, doing a virtual summit is not a tactic, guys. It is not a one-and-done, little flash-in-the-pan tactic that is going to, burn out in 6 months or something. It's not a loophole. It's not it's not even really a shortcut. I mean, it kind of is a shortcut. What it is it's an easy fix that takes an enormous amount of work to really permanently fix your business and get it dialed in. So if you want to build a list, get name recognition, really understand your market, and you want to do it in the next 12 weeks, then type "I'm in" the comments below, and I'll pop you a link. We'll get on the phone and we can chat about it and see how we can get you involved. We also have a really, really cool summit coming up that you're going to see. So that's going to be coming up here soon. So we'll let you guys know.
Maybe Tom or Gary can be on it.
Maybe they should. Maybe they should both. We'll have to wait and see. If you guys, you know what? I want to, I think we'll leave it there. What's up?
I got to go.
You got to go. All right. Harris has got to go. I probably should go. Thank you guys for being with us today. If you want to learn more about summits, type "I'm in" down below, and I'll send you a link. Or Harris will send you a link, whatever platform you're watching this on. Harris, I hope your moving goes well today, and I'll see you tomorrow morning bright and early.
I'll see you in about 22 hours.
That's it. Adios. Thanks, everybody.